New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you over here.
Elzia right here.
Lynn Floyd right here.
And this is New Thought today for St. Patty's Day 2026.
Oh, man.
In case anybody forgot. You got the greenest looking outfit out of all of us, brother. So
it's myself today.
I got green on my watch. On my watch.
Nice. Okay.
I got a sprig of green on my sweatshirt.
I don't see green anywhere in my room.
You got green on your Gary. You got green on your hat there.
Oh, blue.
Oh, all right.
It's like Tahoe, by the way.
Looks green from this side. Oh, that's the lake. Okay.
Yeah.
My I like to joke. My eldest likes to wear green all the time. He never goes a day without wearing green.
Nice.
Except for today.
Except for today, right?
Today's the day he doesn't wear green. So I gotta make sure I get a selfie picture with him so that I have at least one picture out of the year that isn't him wearing green.
That's brilliant.
But that really has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about here today, folks. We're just talking New Thought today. We come to you every Tuesday afternoon, and it is a great pleasure to have a great guest, Lynn Floyd, with us today. Gary's been with us a number of times over the last handful of years, and I don't think we can get enough of you here on the network.
Wow.
So welcome back, sir. Tell anybody that might be watching for the first time a little bit about yourself. What do we need to know to get started here today?
Oh, wow. Well, my name's Lynn Floyd. I go by all three of my names because there was another Gary Floyd that was another songwriter, singer, successful. I got a royalty check from him one time that was made out to me. So it was at that point that I said, I'm not sure he would return mine. So I think I'll change mine. It's my full name. So it's kind of funny because I always hated my full name. So my mom would be very proud right now that I'm going by my whole name. But anyway, I'm a New Thought singer-songwriter. I live in Reno, Nevada. I'm the artist in residence at the Center for Spiritual Living in Reno. And I spend half of my time here with my partner, Danny, and my dogs. And then I'm on the road the other half of the year. And just grateful to keep having an opportunity to share music. And I'm always writing and being creative and, figuring out new things to do. So it's a little bit about me.
Right on. And you're also half of the Floyd Lula combination. Jamie Lula was with us just a couple weeks back on this program. I unfortunately was not here, but Elzia and Reverend Michael sat in for me. You can catch that on our archives, folks. Go check that out on YouTube and listen to that interview. But I didn't share this in the green room beforehand because I wanted to spring this question on you. And I remember when you and Jamie got together. I actually have video of that Paul Kulog show, that Kulog's Woodshed show. We've got video of that on the network. But I can't remember if I've ever asked you how you two actually got put together. Like, who made the introduction? Where did it start that said, oh, wow, these two voices would go really well together? Because you two have been sharing space, sharing credits, singing, songwriting, creating albums and concerts for, I believe, well over 10 years now.
Yeah. I think it's around 13 years now.
What was the spark that got it all started?
I was playing the piano on the music team at CSL in Dallas. And a good friend of mine, Veronica Valles, would always say, "Oh my God, you got to meet Jamie Lula. You got to meet Jamie Lula." And she in turn was good friends with Jamie Lula. And she would go to Jamie and say, "You got to meet Gary." And so there was this, we were kind of indirectly introduced by Veronica. We knew of each other, but had never met. And then I was living out in North Hollywood, and Doug LeBeau invited Jamie and I to participate in a Taizé service that they were having at the North Hollywood church. And we did the Taizé and finally met. "Oh yeah, Veronica's been telling me about you." And so we connected there and just were like, okay, well, what if we just kind of put up a time to write a song and, let's just see and spend some time together. And so I went over to Jamie's house and I had an idea for a song. And the first song we wrote was "God in Everyone," which is one of my favorite, I think probably one of my favorite songs that I've written just in general, but definitely one of my favorites with Jamie. And it was, he says it was a bromance from then on, we connected and we probably hung out and just kind of talked and shared with each other for a couple hours before we started in on the song. And so we had an immediate friendship and then have just been writing songs since then. We went through the time of COVID and we wrote every day at 1:00 on Zoom for that entire year. So, we've probably written 80 to 100 songs total over the 13 years. Yeah. And then that show that you mentioned was our very first concert that we did. And we were at Kulak's Woodshed and we were able to do a video and record it. And so it's a live recording of our very first gig, was the first CD that we recorded.
Yep.
So, exactly. But it's been just an incredible connection and partnership. And, he's like a brother to me. So
absolutely. I had been introduced to your music before that and had no idea the two of you were connecting. But that was also a live stream program. That was one of the very, very first that I remember where anybody was getting into the whole live streaming concept. And because I was up in Washington State and trying to screen record you guys were live streaming and I was trying to screen record it because I'm like, I don't know if anybody's recording this. I don't want to lose this.
Yeah. So, I mean, that space, Kulak's Woodshed, has built for that. And so, I mean, as a musician, anybody listening that's a musician and in Southern California, I mean, they are set up so you can show up and it's a live feed, video, and audio recording all in one. It's just a real gift that they have for artists.
Yeah, and I love that because live music needs to be promoted and attended more, right? I lived in New York City for, I don't know, about 15, 16 years and, would go to all the jazz clubs and all the little dive jazz spots and outdoor concerts. And, that there's a different energy, obviously, when you're with other people. And we were talking about that a little bit in the back room, and there's a vibe going. And so you wind up striking good conversations with the people at the next table or standing next to you. And, synchronistically, you find out there's something there. And then you kind of, it evolves. And I don't know if that's happening as much as it should be, or definitely as it used to be in terms of attending live music.
I think the pendulum is swinging back. I think even with younger generation, it feels like they are much more drawn to give me some live music, give me instruments, give me, live music. And so it's really, I've kind of observed, it feels like the pendulum's swinging back. And I think it makes sense because as electronic and AI as everything is, to actually be able to go into a room and know that what you're hearing and seeing and feeling is connected to another human is really a powerful thing. And it's always been that way. But I think that, I think it might be swinging back in that.
Yeah, that's good because I used to go to Birdland after it moved up in Harlem around 110th Street, and I would go there by myself and order dinner and take my journal and just eat and listen and journal, and it was a vibe. It was most definitely a vibe.
Yeah, definitely creates a moment.
And you strike on something that's important there too, Gary, that with the advent of AI music and with the proliferation of AI music, it's getting harder and harder to know is this just a computer song? And so if you can see somebody live, if you can see them in a club, if you can see them drop a chord here and there, miss a lyric cue or something, that they're really real, that this isn't just something somebody has had a wild idea about and told a computer to create.
Right. I mean, the first time that I saw not necessarily an AI generated song or, because I've heard all those things, but when I saw an AI generated artist that is not a real person, but looks like one in the videos, looks like one in the photos, definitely sounds like one in the recordings. It blew my mind. I was just like, oh my God, I think I lived too long. What is going on here? But then on the other side of it, like I've been involved in a songwriter Zoom retreat that happens every year. It's put on by Empower Music. And there are about 20, 25 songwriters. You get in a big Zoom room, and then they just put you into breakout rooms, and you just kind of show up with whoever you've been assigned. You don't really know. And I had a session yesterday, and we wrote this really great song, 3 of us. And one of the women that I wrote with is younger than me. So like more kind of in the generation of kind of exploring what AI is without getting it to do it for you. It's like there's like a fine dance that people are having right now. Right. And she came back this morning and she had programmed in exactly what we'd written. So it was the exact song, exact melody, lyric, but it was a produced song with another vocal, it just sounded like someone had produced the song with another singer. And it was cool hearing it from that perspective because it was still exactly our song, but I said, you got to show me how to do this because I don't even know, what she just did. But all of that, I used to have a kind of heavy judgment about it. And the more that I realized, okay, it's part of who we are now. So are there ways to use it in a good way?
Yes.
Like I said, without having it do it for you.
Yeah.
But like she did, let's see what this will sound like if I just plug it in to AI and give me a demo back. Yeah. And it was fascinating to see that process. Anyway, I know that went off in left field, but it's
no. I know I love it, Jamie. I mean, Gary, because I had an experience yesterday, same kind of thing. A friend of mine called me and asked me a question about something they're contemplating doing and want to write about and everything. And they were saying, yeah, now I want to try AI and I'm this, that, and the other, a little scared, this, that, and so I said, all right, well, let's just try it now. And it was a little bit of a thing for me because I had never done it. I turned on my microphone so he could hear it because he was on the phone. And I just started having a conversation, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, yeah, I'm thinking about this thing. And he said, oh, yeah, that's a great thing. And so we had this 5 to 8 minute dialogue.
Yep.
And then after we had the dialogue, and it was just a conversation like we're having now, I said, if we were to take this and put it into something, what would that look like? Give me an outline of what that would look like. Put it out, and it was, all vocal. And then after we finished, he said, if you want to see what we talked about, go over here, boom. And it was amazing to do that.
I think that for me, it feels as though it's kind of a mirror, and what you put into it will give you, it'll like reflect it back. And it is, in some ways, it feels like a artificial, can be artificial, like infinite intelligence, divine mind can give you insight into what you're, if you used in that way, I think it's a really valuable thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'll get, I know people have a lot of different opinions about it. And I think we just got to stay open to the reality of, okay, it's here. And now just give us the discernment to know what we're seeing. And if what we're seeing is real, always check that now, because, with video even, just can't even tell anymore.
No. Right.
If you look really close sometimes, but it's getting more and more difficult to tell. But I think that there are ways to process and use it in really ways that, like we want to do, that help raise the vibration, that help let you have more clarity in what you're thinking, so then you can express it a little better. I have found that when I talk in, sometimes I'm like, oh wow, I'm communicating with humans better because I am able to get it out of my head and out of my mouth, which is, it's a cool thing for me.
And one quick thing, Robert, you have to be precise, a little more precise, right? So that translates better to humans, so that your message isn't misunderstood. And I look at it, I was talking with my friend, I was saying, it's just like when the Ford came up with the first car, and they said that's never going to replace the horse and buggy. And now the horse and buggy is only in parades and, rodeos and, the motor cars everywhere, right? It took a minute for everybody to get their heads around the benefits. Yes, there's some inherent risk in everything. And so we just have to deal with that. And as new thought practitioners, I think part of our mission is to push the envelope. Yeah. To create a situation that unfolds the ability to see what the infinite has possible.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of weeks ago, I was doing the Saturday morning Science of Mind conversation program here on New Thought Media Network, and it was a chapter in the Science of Mind book that I haven't read in a while. And so I'm doing my prep work on Saturday night, and I'm opening up, and there it is. There's a whole section, and the section is labeled Absolute Intelligence. And I'm like, oh, well, there it is, right? Yeah. Holmes was writing about it, and we've given it this label of artificial, but really, in many ways, it is a curated. I understand, right? It's not pure, but it's a curated connection to the all intelligence of the universe, as much as it can find, as much as it's directed to find. And to me, it's a tool. And it comes back to, we've been touching on it, that intention that is behind our use of the tool. Are we using it with the intention to deceive, or are we using it with the intention to uplift? And in this conversation today, I think back to when MIDI came into the music scene, and when people started using MIDI amplifiers and started to change the way we created music, the very first drum machine, and how people railed against the drum machine. But let's be real, we wouldn't have the Beastie Boys if it wasn't for a drum machine. There's a lot of things that we wouldn't have if it weren't for artists such as yourself, Gary, being able to take these tools and reimagine how they serve and support, without just transplanting and taking over, without just saying, oh, well, yeah, I'm just going to, tell AI to make me a hit song and take whatever comes back. I would trust that there's that opportunity. I know there is, to kind of say, no, I don't like that drum beat. Do it again. I didn't like the way that guitar sounded. Do it again. No, I didn't like the way this sounded. Do it again. And then create it with that. It's inherent. Your consciousness is infused into the product. regardless of how many prompts or how many times you had to go through it to get to that.
I think it reminds me of the image of the mold that we talk about, of we offer a mold to divine mind, to spirit, and it fills the mold. And it doesn't really have an opinion of what the mold is that we make. It's okay, you want that? Okay, cool. I'll fill that as much as you want. And in the same way, I think that AI, how we're talking about it, is that kind of the mold or the mirror. It's like what you put into it is what comes back. And I mean, as a musician, it's interesting because then I read articles about ASCAP and BMI and publishing companies now having negotiations as far as what, having AI copyrights and protections for artists that may not be human, but maybe, you know what I mean? It's maybe an AI thing. So it's growing. I mean, it's going to be a thing. If it's gotten that far to where and it's the same with Napster. Remember Napster at the beginning and that whole controversy, and now it's just streaming everywhere. And so it's definitely an interesting time. But I think that, as practitioners, we stay aware of where the world is, what's happening, what the tools are that everyone can use, and that how we can best use those tools to make the world, create a world that works for everyone, like we say we want to do.
Yeah. Beautiful. So I guess the question that's coming to me, it's been about 8 months since your last album, G Flow and the Tribe. You're part of a workshop right now, a writer's workshop. Is there a new project in the works? Is there a new project on the horizon?
I would say there's definitely new music on the horizon. I don't know what it is. I'll say I'm writing. I'm playing with, I use Logic here in my little space. And so I'm kind of like working on some new music. Yes. And I'm also writing a memoir, which is totally outside my box, but I finally it's one that I've wanted to write for a while. And now that I'm in my 60s, I'm like, if I don't tell it, nobody will know it, or ever will. So I've been kind of diving into that process, which has been an interesting thing to, look back over one's life and, retell the stories and, all that. So I'm kind of doing a whole lot of stuff right now.
Well, I don't know who they are, but they say that 60s are the new 40s. So you're okay.
I believe it.
I might have just made that up because I'm about to hit 60 later this year myself. But
I mean, it's definitely will always be different living in 60-year-old skin than 30-year-old skin. That's one of the things with the body that just happens. But I think spiritually and mentally, you can make the best of where you're at. And
I don't know if either of you guys have seen it. It started showing up in my feed yesterday or the day before, and it's these reels with predominantly music celebrities that said, it says, "Mom, what were you doing in the 90s?" Or "Dad, what were you doing in the 90s?" And then it flashes back to photos of them or clips of them in the 90s, in their heyday of their celebrity and stuff like that. It made me laugh because I was thinking, I don't know if I want to show anybody pictures of what I was doing in the 90s.
I'm glad there were no smartphones around me in the 90s. I'll just say that.
Yeah. But it's an interesting thing. When I look at it from the perspective of spirituality and not the cell phones, but the environment that we're in now, we talk about infinite intelligence, and right now the internet /AI/ is a great facsimile in my mind once you get it straight and you get it tapped in, tuned in, and turned on to what it needs to be. Because if I was doing, and this is the scary part, I guess, too, for dissertations, right? If I was doing a dissertation or a thesis in school, for me to go get all my resource material and read it, and I may have to travel because they only got one copy of this thing. This so happens for my book that I need. You now have access to all of that, relatively speaking.
Yep.
So what it takes, or what it gives the writer, the artist, the creator, the dialoguer, whatever it is, it gives them, I think, the ability to put more into the creativity of what if, right? Because I know I can grab the sources.
Yeah.
And I lose a lot of energy. When we talk about 60 years and all that, that made me think about it. You know, I'm not as I'm still got a lot of energy, but I'm not as in. And if you think I got a lot now, you can only imagine what I had when I was younger. But now the ability to focus that energy into a laser as to a big floodlight, I can get a different product. I can get a different outcome. And I think that's going to mean something given where we are in society now. We're going to need people to have access to the floodlight, but they're going to be able to get to that laser really quick to make things happen.
Yep.
Yep. I agree.
So I guess the important thing is just then as an individual, where you choose to point your laser, right?
And as we know, a laser can heal. You can get corneas out your eyes, or it can be destructive, right? So we have to get centered in a spiritual space where a world that works for everything, and now begin to say, okay, now if I have that as my foundation, a world that works for everything, world that works for all, now where do I put my focus?
Yeah.
Well, I can say that I'm pretty grateful that over, I guess I don't want to put a number on it, but for the last couple of decades, let's say, Gary has been putting his focus on creating positive music for the New Thought movement. And I think it's time we heard some.
Yeah.
Okay. I love this one. I wrote this one in 1990, probably. Yeah. No, 2000, a long time ago.
Where were you in the 90s?
Not near a cell phone. Open your mind. Unfold your heart. Relax your senses and feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Breathe every breath. Yeah. Release your cringe. Love without waiting. Without waiting. Slowly unhinge. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. You can stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. It's already who we are.
lift up your voice. Lift it up now, now. Let it be heard. Let it be heard. Tell me your story. Tell it to me. And don't leave out a word. Not a word, no. 'Cause I think I have been there too. I'm a seeker just like you. And you ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still till you come unwound. Unbound. Lay it all down, down, down. Unbound. Open your mind and unfold your heart. Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, I know songs are like children. You're not supposed to have a favorite, but that is by far my personal favorite Gary Lynn Floyd song. I love it every time you play it.
I love it. It's definitely in my top 3.
Yeah, right.
That
Folks,
one was a special one. Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, folks. Let Gary take a sip of water and grab a breath of fresh air, let you learn a little bit more about some of what's going on here at New Thought Media Network. But we're going to be right back with more after this break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you passionate about media, storytelling, and making a difference? Welcome to New Thought Media Network, where your voice matters. We amplify diverse voices and share impactful stories. Join us in our mission. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to creativity and community, looking for enthusiastic volunteers who want to be part of something bigger, learn, grow, and collaborate in various aspects of media production. Incredible support and camaraderie await you here. Your contributions will help us create powerful content that resonates with audiences and drives social change.
Ready to make a difference? Visit our website www.ntmedia.org to learn more about volunteer opportunities and how you can get involved.
Find our volunteer inquiry under the Engage tab on our website, or visit www.ntmedia.org/volunteer. We look forward to connecting with you soon.
And we're back with more of New Thought today here on the New Thought Media Network. Our guest, Gary Lynn Floyd. And Gary, I want to share with you that the little robot alien guy that flies in on that last spot, totally inspired by you.
I love it.
I don't know I ever told you that before, but when I was making that video, I was just like, we need something here that breaks up the... And somehow your love of the alien culture jumped into my head, and I was like, oh, Gary will appreciate this.
I totally did. And I was watching that, and I was like, oh, what cool avatars you've got. And they're talking, and then the alien came through, and I was okay. It's got to be for me.
Maybe that's... We were sort of writing a song, unknowingly writing a song before the show here today. Maybe that's part of it. It's songs from another universe or something, alien transmissions, and
yes. There's a very cool song. We probably don't have time to play it, but it's by a guy named Philip Labes, Labes, and it's called a TV show called Earth. You can find it YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Go listen to it. I want to plug that because I've learned it. I've played it a few times, but it's all about aliens and the idea that they're just watching this TV show called Earth. And at the end of the song, they're like, okay, that was fun. Let's see what else is on. And they like puts it all in perspective, you know. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
This latest episode, the writers are going a little off the rails, though. So,
Totally.
this past season's been kind of crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, hey, before we run out of time, I want to bring up a couple of topics that we want to chat about today. And one of them is we love to ask all of our guests, what do you see as the future for this movement, New Thought, for the philosophy, for the way things have, you've been around for a long time now, as far as understanding the basics and the nuances of the philosophy. And as a musician, you get to see all the different organizations and what they do. And we love to kind of dig in a little bit. And what do you see as the future? Where's this all taking us? Where are we headed?
Oh, wow. I think that it's just a continuation and evolution of, you know, I'm relatively new to, I showed up at Center for Spiritual Living in Dallas in 2000, probably 8 or 9, to start playing the music. And so I just speak from my understanding, but I think the future is all of us digging in a little deeper to the reality of who we are individually, and that we, you know, there are licensed practitioners and licensed ministers. And just because that exists, I think that the teaching is that we're all practitioners of this teaching, and to maybe the future is encouraging people to take more responsibility for being that to themselves, because then that way, and for me, that I think that's the teaching of, you know, the kingdom within. I was raised in the Christian faith, and so the kingdom within really resonates with me. That, oh wow, that spark, that divinity is within me, and it's my opportunity and my responsibility to take that literally. And then, okay, so then if that's the case, then how do I show up? And as far as the organizations and everything, I think that it feels as though there's kind of like I don't know if merging is the right word, but just a more of a collective thought that we're all in this together, regardless if we're what other form of new thought we are. It's kind of like we're all kind of in the same consciousness. And yeah, musically, I've been leading a song circle here in Reno for the last 2 or 3 years. And I think that group, you know, singing in a group, and it's great to do concerts, but there's something that happens in a room when you get a group of people, maybe sitting in a circle and actually singing together. We feel it in the services that we have on Sundays, and just to lean into that, that group consciousness of singing, and chanting, and you know, that way of holding the space for the planet that we're on. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's, you know, I think it's just a continued shift into the realization of who we individually are, and then we kind of can share that collectively in community. And I don't know what community looks like. It seems like younger people aren't so drawn into church as we were, or, you know, into the organization. And so I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, as I was sitting there shaking my head and smiling as you was talking, because I heard something the other day that Wayne Dyer, I was listening to a talk by Wayne Dyer. And he made something to the effect that saying that we live in a universe, one verse, one song.
Wow.
And that everybody is playing in this universal song, and everybody has to play their instrument. But you gotta know your instrument. You gotta know what scale we're using. You gotta know what key, whether we're flat or sharp, or when to add those to the music. And so all that's been going through my head when I heard him say that universe thing is the one song. And, Mickey Hart, drummer, the great, he did this Planet Earth. He had a thing, Planet Earth, the percussionist, and he just went out and recorded sounds from the earth and made music to it. And it was just like, okay, yeah, I got this universe, the music, the song, the symphony, the various communities. Like, if you had a symphony, you got the woodwinds and you got the brass, and that's a different community. They do things different with trumpets than you do with a clarinet or saxophone. Yes. Right. And I think, that's what we have to begin to tap into more. Everything we need is here, right? There's that song that says, you can all know everything without ever knowing how. It's in every one of us. That spark that you were talking about is there. But we have to, as the song you sung, let your guard down, let the senses open up, and trust and know that there are no accidents in the universe.
I love what you said about like playing the same song. And so it's not only just knowing know your instrument, know how to play your instrument, but then also if everybody just plays their instrument at the same time, it's chaos. But know that we are in this together, and we're playing a song. Know when to come in, know when to, your part is done for a while. Yeah. And that's really powerful. Thank you for that.
And I want to echo in on that, because you brought your singing circle here to Colorado a while back, and I got to be a part of it and be there with you. And it was so amazing because you taught us the chants off of G Flow and the Tribe. And folks, I put a link in the chat box for you there, so you can go check out a video Gary and I did back in September, a listening party for that album. And but you taught us the chants, and it was a pretty good sized room, and we weren't just huddled up together. It was probably 40, 50 feet between me and the far side of the circle, but you could hear the various voices from around the circle. And obviously some people were a little more trained and a little bit better singers than others, and some were a little more boisterous and some would hold back, but you could hear the heartbeat of the room. You could hear the oneness of the room. And, I personally think, folks, this is worth a trip to Reno just to go see one of these sometime, just to go check out Gary and these song circles, because everybody walked away. And I had people walk up to me that night like, I didn't know you were here. And I'm like, wow, okay, cool. And it's good seeing you again. And it didn't matter who was there, is my point, because the oneness was there. And we weren't all just sitting there going, oh, Gary, we love you. It was the oneness of, and you brought us to that place. So yes, shared spiritual experience is our future, versus looking at one person as the source of the wisdom or the vibe or whatever it might be. And there's times for concerts, and there's times where I want to just sit back and listen to you go through your greatest hits. But this event was very special and unique in that we all got to play a part. We all got to be a part of it.
I think it's a metaphor for the greater community and the greater experience that we're having, of that we just to be there for one another, create the space for we're going to need to lean into one another on in our small communities as well as the big community. But I think there's going to be a real need for closeness and connection within the smaller communities that we are all in,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I come from the South, and small towns are a thing. And when I look back on that, the beauty of that was there was connections that you didn't even hardly know, right? Of course, there were always the neighbors who were looking out the window saying, oh, that boy did something wrong, I'm going to tell his daddy. But it was needed, right? Because I was out of pocket, and if somebody hadn't checked it, who knows what would have happened. That's that. But the other part of it is there was this intuitive connection, I think, between the members of the neighborhood or the members of the community that just allowed things to flow. You know, if I'd got in trouble at home, I could go across the street to my friend's house, and his mother, because I didn't have my mother, she would console me, right? And provide snacks for me, right? So that ability for us to lean in, as you were saying, and allow the senses. I mean, I think now we're more and more in this sensory deprived environment, i.e., we have too much sensory stuff coming in with the phones and the this and the that. But to let your guard down and let your heart open and allow us to sense more. I always remember that verse or that statement in I think it was from What the Bleep, you know, that says every second we're bringing in 4 billion bits of information, but by the time it gets to our conscious level, we only have 200,000. And that our skin is one of the biggest sensory reception, and we don't take care of it or know about it. And we have to lean into that more. And that's what a small community that we find ourselves in now, I think, gives us the chance to do.
Amen.
Amen.
Well, Gary, what's on the horizon as far as gigs and events, and what do you got going on? Where are we going to find you out in the world this year?
I'm excited for this coming weekend because I get to go to Unity Center of New York City. I have been doing their Zoom since COVID. And so like just kind of on an ongoing basis, I'll send, not their Zoom, but I'll send videos in for their service. And so this is my first time to be able to go and be there in person. So I'm looking forward to being in New York this weekend. And then just, I'm the artist in residence here in Reno. So I'm here half the time, and then just get out and tour and do different, I've gone to Amani Center in Sacramento, and always writing. It's the first time I've lived in a house. So there's part of me that's continuing to kind of ground a little more. And now spring is getting close. And just the simple thing of seeing things bloom and turn green in your yard is a really cool thing for me that I haven't, it's new in my life because I was always in apartments and condos and that kind of living. So I have been drawn to that too. But with music and anything you want to know about my touring or anything, it's my website's GaryLynnFloyd.music. Oh yeah, it says .com, but it's different now, Robert. I forgot to tell you that. But it's .music. That's a long story I won't get into. But I have a new website.
And it's about music.
Yeah, and I've been, because I've been working a little bit on this memoir, then I've been writing some blogs, which have been kind of interesting. Finding my voice a little bit more, not just my singing and musical voice, but my just my voice in general later in life. And so it's like, it's a cool time. I'm glad to be part of this today. This has been a really great conversation. I've loved it.
Thank you. We're grateful you're here.
Yeah.
And I do want to run a big plug, folks. I'm super, super excited because Floyd Lula, Gary, and the other half of the bromance, Jamie Lula, will be the featured musicians at the affiliated New Thought Network, Anton's annual retreat later this year at Unity Village. You can learn all about that at anton.org. Just click on the events tab, and registration's open for that. But that happens October 5th through the 9th. And I haven't had a chance to talk with you, Gary, but I might have heard the theme song the other day.
Oh, really? Okay.
So one of our resident artists, Cerise Patron, wrote an amazing song, and we're going to bring it to the next music team meeting so that you and Jamie can hear it. And I think you're going to love it when you hear it because it's an absolute anthem. But I'm personally really, really excited. I've been pushing for a couple years. I keep dropping hits Floyd Lula. We got to do Floyd Lula. We need to do Floyd Lula. And last year was Ricky Byers. And somebody at the very first debrief, somebody's like, okay, so who can we get to follow Ricky Byers? And I was like, Floyd Lula. We can get Floyd. We can get them. I'm telling you guys that they can
That's
follow.
a tall order, Robert.
So not to put much pressure on you or anything, but
I'm glad we have till October to get our stuff together. No, we're really looking forward to it. And anytime we get an opportunity to be in the same room, it's like we were talking about earlier, just the live experience of both being in the same room for us, just being able to hear the harmonies. And, you know, we have that, we're not family, but we have that familial harmony that just feels so good. And yeah, we're really, really, really looking forward to being with you all in October.
I promise it's going to be a lot of fun. So
yeah.
Have you been in the big room there, the new Goppert Center?
I have. It's really nice.
Isn't that a great facility? It's
beautiful.
The stage is amazing, and the sound in the building is just off the hook. And so go register.
That part of the building, that whole campus is just so beautiful and cool. And yeah, it's just such a great space to experience. So y'all come.
We're going to have a good time. All right, folks, we're going to take one more real quick break and let a couple more sponsors say hello and thank you for your support. However, we're not done yet. We got more coming up with Gary Lynn Floyd after this break. Stay with us. We'll be right back in just a minute.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you.
And we are back with more of New Thought Today here on the New Thought Media Network. Our special guest today, a musical artist, Gary Lynn Floyd. I almost put a reverend in front of your name there. Gary Lynn Floyd. And Gary, I have a two-part question for you. And you've had the chance to work with a number of different New Thought musicians. And I don't know as much about your pre-New Thought life and collaborations and stuff like that. But the question is, of all the people in New Thought right now, who would you most like to collaborate on a song with? And if you could choose from all musicians, who's on your wish list of people that you would love to collaborate with?
God. We just said her name, but in New Thought, I'd love to collaborate with Ricky Byers. I think it'd be great to write a song and collaborate with her on that. And then in the greater world, you know this about me, but my whole life I have been drawn to and inspired by, and she's kind of my muse through my life, is Amy Grant. And I would die a happy man if I had a chance to write, sing, any of those things with her. It's a simple request.
Beautiful. All right. Well, I can put you in touch with Ricky Byers. That would,
great fun to write something with her.
Right on. Well, and folks, let's get this out in the universe. If you're watching this, who knows Amy Grant? Who knows somebody that knows Amy Grant? We're within 6 degrees of separation from Amy Grant. Somebody we know, or somebody you know, knows somebody that knows somebody that can hook these two up. And let's
You've been waiting for me to show up.
yeah. Just speak it loud enough. So perfect. All right. Well, folks, we have reached about that point in time in the afternoon where it is our final thoughts. What we like to do to wrap up this program is go around in a circle and share any final thoughts we might have, anything we forgot to mention, or anything we want to revisit before we're done for the day. And we'll get started with my dear brother, Reverend Elzia.
Yeah, you just said that. See, and that made me think about a song. There's a musician, he's transitioned now, Billy Preston. He was a keyboardist and I think he played percussions as well, but he had a song, Will It Go Round in Circles? Will it fly high like a bird up in the sky? And the theme from that song for me was exactly what Gary was singing in a different way. Tap into your stuff and be the musician, the artist that you were born to be. And which leads me to my final song of Kenny Rogers, and know when to hold them and know when to fold them. You know when to play your piece and know when to step back. And we have to get into that, right? It's that movement. The grand designer is the orchestrator. So let's get in tune, find our chops, and then let the grand conductor conduct.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Beautiful. Gary, final thoughts.
I'm going to borrow your tagline that you just said of "Come be you," and just inspire people to wherever it is that you're showing up in the world. Just be you. Be confident in the fact that you are the only one of you, and that there are gifts and things that you can offer to the space that you're in, and just look for ways to connect with people and to lean into life. And but mostly just there's that do you book, but it's just be yourself and just take responsibility for being the light in the world that you are, and just shine as bright as you can in this time.
Thank you. Yeah, right on. For me, the theme today, and you, for me, Gary, you typify this, you represent this so well, is always be creating.
Yeah.
Don't lose that creative spark. Whether you're making the wheels go round and round, or learning how to play poker, whether you're writing a new chant, or working with a to be known younger artist, be creative. Always be in that creative space. Always be bringing something new forward, and that to me, and that's an anchor point in my life as well, is always be creating. So,
beautiful.
There we are. Folks, thanks for being with us today. This has been a New Thought Today with our guest, Gary Lynn Floyd, my co-host, Reverend Elzia Sekou. On behalf of all of us here on New Thought Media Network, we want to say thank you for being with us. Tune in again soon. Tune into all of our programming. And hey, if you got a little something extra in the kitty, go head on over to ntmedia.org/donate and drop a donation in the bucket. Goes a long way to helping make sure we can continue to bring you this type of programming and all the great artists that are with us to inspire humanity's evolution. On behalf of everyone here, until next time, we want to wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.
Love you guys. Thank you.